3 workouts a week? Really? Is that all you need? Yeah, and I'd go one step further. I think you only need to be training for about an hour total across those sessions to build a decent physique. Now, I'm not saying you're going to become the next Mr. or Mrs. Olympia, the next Chris Bumstead, but for 99.9% of people, you included, and me, 3 workouts a week is more than enough. You see, as natural lifters, when you don't use steroids, your body needs time to repair itself. It needs time to recover. It needs time to rest. And when you start training 4, 5, 6 days a week, it doesn't give your body time to do that. And not only do your muscles need time to rest and repair, but if you're doing heavy compound lifts like squats and deadlifts, your central nervous system also needs time to recover. And so 3 days a week gives your body ample time to recover and ample time in the gym to get some really, really intense workouts in. You see, by pulling down the time of our sessions and the frequency of our sessions, it allows us to really dial up the intensity of what we do in that time. And intensity is what causes muscles to grow. You have to do more than you did last time. It's the whole concept of progressive overload to grow your muscles and to get stronger. If you're going to the gym and say you do a 10-week program and you lift the same weights for the same reps every single week, you're not going to have made any progress because you haven't challenged your muscles enough. You haven't challenged your body enough. To grow, you need to progressively overload. Over that 10 weeks, you would need to increase either the weight or reps as many times as you possibly can in that period. So say you started on 100 kg squats for 8 reps. By the end of that 10 weeks, if you were still squatting 100 kg for 8 reps, your legs are not going to have grown at all. You're not going to have made any progress there. But if, for example, you took that 100 kg for 8 reps and you either increased the reps each time you worked out, so maybe you tried to get 9 the second workout and 10 the third, and then once you hit that 10, you increased the weight on the bar by 2.5, 5 kilos, something like that. By the time that 10 weeks are up, you might be squatting 110 or 120 kilos for 8 to 10 reps, and you're going to notice some progress. It's when we have to look at this in terms of what's actually going to force our muscles to grow. Is doing 6 2-hour-long workouts every week where we're not really able to up the intensity, we're not really able to up the amount of reps or the weight we're doing because we're just so exhausted all the time and we feel like we have to save ourselves for those exercises later in the session. You see, that is the beauty of doing really short, intense workouts. You can just go all in on one set. In fact, that's how I now approach my training. I used to be one of those people who, tried to go to the gym 6 days a week and do these marathon-long workouts, but I never found it worked for me. One, because I was always too fatigued and I would burn myself out on it. And again, if you're watching this video and you've got this far, you probably find yourself in the same situation. You try and stick to these crazy programs and you just end up burning yourself out. So what you actually need to do is to strip it right back to just the basics and focus on intensity. Now, as I was saying, when we strip back and pull back, it allows us to be more intense and we can get some really good results with just one set per exercise. So let's take that squat example again. Let's say you were squatting 100 kilos for 8 reps. Rather than doing, the traditional 3 or 4 sets, you're just going to do one set to failure. Of course, you're going to do some warm-ups, so we're not just going to dive straight in. You might do the bar, then 60 kg, maybe an 80 kg for a few, and then 100 kilos for your main working set. And you are just going to squat until you drop. You're going to go until you cannot do any more. Your last rep should look slow. It should be a real grind, but without your form breaking down too much. And when you get that last rep, trust me, you're not going to want to do any more sets because your muscle is going to be destroyed. You're going to be out of breath, you're going to be lightheaded, you're going to feel like you've just been hit by a truck, all from one set. And I guarantee you will get more results from that one intense set than you will from 3 sets where you don't really push yourself that hard and you've got a bit left in the tank and you're only getting tired by the end just because of the amount of volume you've done rather than the amount of intensity you've put into the exercise. And you repeat this across all exercises and you simplify what you do. So for me, for example, I train 4 different days, but I only do 3 days per week. So I'll have a day where I'm focused on squats, and then I'll finish up with, so I'll do my 1 set of squats to failure, and then I'll hit some bicep curls and some tricep pushdowns or something like that for my arms. And again, I follow the same pattern for every exercise, a couple of warm-up sets and then 1 all-out set to failure. The next day, I will look at doing something like some pull-ups and some overhead press, again to failure, and then maybe do some calf raises or something. So I'm kind of training full body every day, but mainly when I'm doing like my lower body exercises, I do just 1 big lower body exercise, so squats or deadlifts, and then some lighter work like arms or shoulders. And on my days where I am doing some upper body, I tend to do 2 compound exercises like pull-ups or overhead press, and then I'll drop down and do some calves or some abs or something for an isolation. And then my final 2 days are deadlifts with some lateral raises and some face pulls, and my last day would be like an incline dumbbell bench press, a seated cable row, and some abs. And just doing 3 of those workouts per week, they don't take more than 20 minutes, half an hour each, gets me the best results I have been able to find anywhere. And I've been training for a long while. I've been training on and off since I was about 16, and I'm now 28. So what's that, 12 years? I've never grown faster than I'm growing at the moment. I've never put on the strength or the muscle that I am getting with this system. And it's all due to the intensity and giving my body time to rest in between. So if you've been stuck in the gym, if you've been struggling to stay consistent, if you've been struggling to grow, then give this a shot. Strip your workouts right down to the basics. Some compound lifts, a couple of isolation lifts to supplement them. Cut your volume right down, cut your frequency down, and ramp up that intensity. And I guarantee it will get you the results you've been looking for. If you want to see how to build some just general exercise into your day as well, so for those days where we're not training, we still want to be active, we still want to have some form of movement in our day, just not as intense as those workouts, then check out the links in the description to the ebook and course that I've got in there, which will show you how to build some really sustainable systems. And the course actually goes into a bit more detail on the exercise programs as well. So if that sounds of interest, as I say, do check out the links in the description, and I'll catch you next time. Take care. God bless.